Hello and welcome to this edition of Ask the Service Provider. I am your host, Clem Harrod, Chief Projection Officer of Clemco HR, and I am excited today that we have with us Jason Grundy, who is a Corporate Financial Analyst with over 20 years of experience. Jason discovered his gift and talent when he was headed one way in his life, down the medical field at that. And then he realized through a supervisor helping him to understand that he has a gift and talent in finances. And now we are working together to help the small business owner, entrepreneur, independent contractor understand how to be their very best financially. Jason, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Clem?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. So
Great.
I love that you've been working with corporations, small businesses, and owned your small business yourself, and nonprofits, helping them to understand how to manage their money, manage their finances, and
Hmm.
to navigate this world that we're living in. And right now, we all understand what's going on with
Sure.
COVID-19 and the coronavirus, and what's going on with the economy. How does a small business or independent contractor best manage their money during times like this?
Yeah, that's a good question, and you know, there's clearly no one size fits all. So there's there may be different situations. So you may need to in order to give specific answers, I may need to understand the business structure a little bit more. But let me give you an overview of some things to look out for. So any business that survives is always looking ahead and making adjustments, as they go. To survive what we're going through right now, unfortunately, especially since America is a consumer-based economy and no one is consuming, you're going to have to. It's at this point, it's about manage your expenses because you're not having the same revenue or sales, depending on what your business is. Your revenue is not coming in to offset your expenses. So you're at a point where you have to lower your expenses. And unfortunately, what's happening in the world today, as most people know, is that there's been 23 million people file for unemployment. That means 23 million people have been unemployed, which is very typical of what a company will do in order to survive. Their biggest overhead is their labor, unfortunately. And so if you have a company, you want your company to survive through this, you're going to have to dramatically reduce your expenses. Um, 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 it would be nice if you could reduce your expenses to the level that it matches your income or your revenue to make sure that you're balanced to survive. If you can't do that, you may have to go into your reserves in order to get through this downturn in the economy. Also, something that you want to do, something that especially large corporations tend to do in this environment, is their banks become their best friend. Most of them are leveraged with their lending institution or the company that they bank with, and banks will tend to, especially if you have a great relationship with your bank, will tend to give a lot of flexibility during these times, and because they have a lot of hopes on you surviving. Because if you don't survive, they won't get they won't get their mortgage check, or they won't
Right.
get the interest on it. So work closely with your banks if you're a large entity, and they will, or a small entity, and banks will tend to work closely with you. But the way to survive this downturn is reduce your expenses. That's part of it, and pivot. There is a company that I recently helped here in Tampa that were making one product, but because of COVID-19, there was a demand for a specific product. They pivot and they begin producing that product, and now that's allowing them to survive through this COVID-19 downturn. So those are some strategies that you may want to incorporate into your business during
I
this
love how
time.
you said just looking at your expenses and reducing them, right? So now that's part of one of the things that we teach with the budgeting aspect of every organization or independent contractor, managing and understanding where their money is going. I mean, I know you're familiar with the game cash flow,
Yeah.
because we've spoken
Yeah.
about, or you've used the word cash flow before. And so
Hmm.
once you know where all your money's going, you can look at that and say, okay, well, I can reduce that. I don't need that. That was a want, not a need. I can maybe get on a cheaper plan of this one service or something to kind of allow that the cash or that money to stay into your bank account, and then using your, as you mentioned, using your institution for um, to as leverage to help you to
Right.
sustain.
Your
Yeah.
banking institution or your lending institution. Yeah.
Yeah, that's some great advice. Now from that same standpoint, okay, so now we've minimized everything. We were spending up here, money's not coming in, right? We're not bringing in that revenue. We're not getting those jobs, whether it be a corporate event, whether it be a sporting event, a concert, a Broadway show, whatever the case. We're not doing those things that we would normally do. So we're going to minimize our expenses, but now we're operating down here, very low budget. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
now economy's starting to take a turn. Things are starting to pick back up. Um, I would think so. We've depleted our reserves because
Hmm.
we've needed
To
uh,
survive.
to
Yeah.
survive. Right, 3 to 6
Hmm.
months is a reserve that we like to stick to, or say that any small business independent contractor should have. But we depleted those reserves. Now we're operating down here. When the economy starts to pick up, should we then just go ahead and start, okay, bringing up our expenses again to get back to that place that we want it to be, or what are your suggestions?
Yeah. That's a little tricky because it depends on, once again, the type of company you are, the type of business you have. That's a little tricky. But one of the things that and this is from a small business perspective, not from
Mm-hmm.
a large corporation perspective, is that what you want to do is engage your customers that you had previous before the downturn, and try to make sure that network and bond is still there, because if they have turned the corner also, you can begin receiving revenue from them again. They can potentially become your customer again, and you can begin building up those sales again. What some other companies tend to do, and it's interesting. It just depends. So it's interesting. Some folks say that when you are in a downturn, or or if you're going back into that upturn swing, the smartest thing to do is to not ever give up on your marketing. Make sure that you're always putting yourself out there. Spend more on marketing. Keep that marketing flowing. So, when the economy turns, you're now the number one person out there. You're the one getting the exposure. You're the number one on a Google search. Those type of things. So you're positioning yourself, to attract more business. So, but looking at it strictly from a financial perspective, because I am the wrong person to talk to about any
You
type of
want to talk about
marketing.
marketing? No, you're
Yeah,
not
no,
telling
I
us
don't.
what color scheme to go with for our
No, I don't know
flyers.
anything about that. No, no, no. I don't even get marketing. I don't even know how marketing makes money. Well, I'm being facetious. I do, but it's still a tough pill for me to swallow, because I look at everything from a return on investment anytime I spend money. So, look at it from an expense. The first expense you probably eliminated when your business downturn was you eliminated your labor, right? This may be a good time to bring someone aboard and to help them drum up additional sales. That should be what you look at, because you're not going to be able to manage, depending on your business. It's going to be hard to manage all those different aspects of your business on your own. It may be downtime once you start building that customer base, to start bringing staff on to help you manage your organization a little better. Start adding those additional expenses. But it all comes down to, as Clem said, I'm a big cash flow guy, and you can't hire anyone if you don't have the money. So how do you get the revenue in, and then start expending money?
but
That's a
but
really
now what
tricky
if
question.
so I'm sorry. Well, then let's think about it from like a one-man show, right? So we're talking about independent contractors, people who are going out there
Okay.
doing their own thing. Okay, so I'm used to the jobs coming in and and then being offered an opportunity, going out and working, right? Making a good wage where it's sustainable for that period of time when I'm not working. So
Yeah.
I know one thing that a lot of people have been doing during this time is taking classes and getting education. And I guess
Mm.
in that right now, it's like, okay, or when the economy starts going back up, job opportunities start coming, leveraging that education that we've then received to try to maximize your return on investment when the time comes back around. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to, stay, within the realm of finances, but within that, what you're saying is, so I'll use this for example. Any company that survives, and I said this earlier, takes advantage of the situation that they're in. And most companies don't create any situations. They just take advantage of the situation. So look at COVID-19 as what can I take advantage of in this particular situation? What can I do for my company to survive, or what can my company do to maximize this opportunity? And it could be, as you said, it could be to, you know, to get some additional education, or it could be, okay, there is a target market or target a group that I wanted to potentially get that new business from. Let me start working that business now because I didn't have time in the past to do that. Now I got time. Let me start working that angle to try to get in that business, in that scope, in that realm. Also, too, this may be a good time to sharpen up that resume and to maybe have a professional take a look at that resume
Hmm.
and make sure that you're positioning yourself in social media the right way. As you know, LinkedIn is the biggest network when it comes to dealing with business with the business world. Make sure that the what you're putting out there is what the world wants to see. If you're not getting contacts, if someone's not knocking on your door, emailing you, or calling you, then maybe the information that's on LinkedIn isn't attractive enough for those individuals. So look to sharpen that up, uh, uh, a bit. Uh,
Yeah.
I know LinkedIn works extremely well for me. My last two opportunities for the companies I worked with, I've been contacted directly on LinkedIn by the human resources representative. So I haven't had to go job shopping at all. They actually come knocking on my door. But I do keep my my LinkedIn resume, if you will, or my LinkedIn profile. I keep it sharp, tight, always updating when I learn another skill. I know like a Hyperion financial systems, which is, something that that every company is looking for now because, it's an Oracle based system. That when I put
Yeah.
that out there, I get a lot of knocks on my door saying, hey, we're looking to hire people with Hyperion experience. So you want to make sure that you are keeping up with what the world is looking for, and if you don't have that skill, this is the time to work on that skill. You'll be surprised how quickly you can learn another skill to be prepared, because this COVID-19 is going to go away. It'll eventually go away. What position are you going to be in once it goes away?
Right.
You have to think that far ahead.
Well, Jason, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for joining us on Ask the Service Provider. I know that we will have more conversations because your insight is very valuable to the companies, the corporations that you've helped and you've assisted. And there are many of us out here that could use that information as well. So if you want some more information about all of these services, whether it be accounting, bookkeeping, finance, insurance, mental health, physical health, join the Clemco HR network at www.clemcohr.com. We'll see you next time.